What's up, guys? It's Nicola from Notch Hill. Let's talk about what to do when your child first gets their dyslexia diagnosis. Okay, so you've just got the piece of paper, you're feeling a little overwhelmed, you've just found out that your child is dyslexic. What do you do? Well, here's a 5-step action plan to get you through those first few months as you're trying to reconcile all of those feelings. So, the first thing you're going to do with this diagnosis is you're going to talk. You're going to talk and you're going to talk and you're going to talk and you're going to talk about it with your child. Don't keep this from them. It's so important that they understand that there's nothing wrong with their brain. They have a perfectly good brain. They're perfectly smart people. They just have a difference, and it makes it hard for them to learn to read sometimes and learn to write sometimes too. They need to start to understand, and they need to accept. And talking it through with their parents is the best way for them to do that. They're going to have questions. It's going to come in waves, and that's okay. They just need you to be their rock, to be there for them as they process it themselves. There's a couple really good books for you to read during this phase. There's one called Fish in a Tree. I love this book. It's about a child who learns that she's dyslexic. There's another one here. This one's called Prove It, Josh, and it's by Jenny Watson, and I like this one too. The other ones that are really great are the Henry Winkler books, you know, the Fonz from Happy Days. He's written a series of books around dyslexia for children. I haven't read them, but I hear they're really good. So, number 1, talk, talk, talk. Number 2, you're going to figure out your strengths and your challenges. So, which of those areas in school was your child already doing really well in? Let's honor those. Let's talk about those, and let's make time for those, because we're all put on this planet for some things, and if we're not working on our strengths, then we're not having a very good time here. We need to acknowledge what the challenges are. We need to figure out exactly how they manifest, and we need to come up with a plan, number 3, and some goals to support those challenges. So you could come up with simple goals, or you could work with your support to come up with some goals. So your support could be in school, but you may also need to get some outside of school help as well. Dyslexia is a very well researched subject, and so is literacy. There have not just been studies on dyslexia and literacy, but there have been meta-studies and governmental reviews of the studies. So we're talking about study of reviews where they take in 100,000 or more studies on literacy, and they figure out what the commonalities are between them. When they did that, they came up with certain best practices for working with literacy and working for children with learning differences. And they came up with something called the Literacy 5, which you should totally Google. And they also came up with a methodology that works well, that is research-based for working with children to teach them to read, but then also for teaching children with dyslexia. And it's called structured literacy. So you're looking for somebody who can provide structured literacy support for your child. The research is in. It is the way we need to go forward. You can also Google Orton Gillingham. Orton Gillingham is an approach for teaching dyslexic and children with language-based learning difficulties. And so Orton Gillingham practitioners use structured literacy and apply it with an Orton Gillingham application. So those are things to Google and to look for. There are people who have Orton Gillingham's approach. So it's sort of like, imagine French cooking is an approach to cooking. And then you could go to a cooking school and learn, that school's version of French cooking. The same thing with Orton Gillingham. You will find people out there that teach Orton Gillingham as a method, right? So they're based on Orton Gillingham, and that's fine too. So you're looking for something that's based in Orton Gillingham, based in structured literacy, something like that, and you'll be good. And then the last step is stick to your plan. Now, this is probably the hardest of all of the steps, and that's because there's no quick remediation. And that's principally because there's really nothing wrong with a dyslexic brain. So anybody who's trying to sell you some quick cure for dyslexia is a snake oil salesperson, not a snails person. A snake oil salesperson. There's nothing wrong with a dyslexic brain. It doesn't need to be fixed. What we do need is to provide structured, cumulative, explicit structured literacy intervention to help your child learn to read. And it just doesn't happen overnight. Usually it takes about 2 years to run through a program. You should be seeing improvements in about 6 months. And if you're not, you should talk to the person that's supporting you. Probably need to tweak something. But yeah, stick to it. So, talk. Strengths and challenges. Don't forget those strengths. They're really important now more than ever. Plan and goals. Support. Research-based support. And stick to the plan. The hardest part. Okay. That's all I have to say on that subject. I wish you all the best. Keep tuned. We're going to have lots of videos and how-tos here for parents. Oh, and one other thing. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so that you are alerted to new videos and you can learn new ways to support your child with dyslexia.